Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Story Time with Poppop. I'm going to continue on reading from the series Ordinary People Change the World. Today we're going to do Abraham Lincoln. The name of the book is I Am Abraham Lincoln. I am Abraham Lincoln. When I was little, even young boys were expected to work on the farm and hunt animals for food. Are you coming? I'll catch up with you later. I prefer to read. I also loved animals. When I was 10 years old, I saw a group of boys playing with some turtles. They found turtles. I love turtles. Look, it's making the turtle run faster. It's the fastest turtle ever. But as I got closer, I realized they weren't playing. They were taking hot coals and putting them on the tops of the turtles to see what would happen. To see what would happen to them, and it was harmless fun. In that moment, I could have just walked away. When you're 10 years old, it's hard to do the right thing, but someone has to. Let this turtle go. What did you say? You heard me. Let it go. These boys let the turtle go. That's him standing up to those boys. Soon after, I wrote one of my first essays about how hurting animals is wrong. That may not seem like a big deal, but back then, most kids and even adults didn't know how to write. In fact, the state of Indiana was so new, schools weren't even built yet. I went to school for barely a year, total. But that didn't stop me. Using chalk, I practiced writing the alphabet on trees. A, B, E, how's the corn coming? Oh, I'm sorry, that says Abe. How's the corn coming? Great, Dad. He was busy writing on trees. His dad's in the field behind him. When it comes to learning, my best teachers were simply books. I loved books so much, I once walked 6 miles. I'm serious, 6 miles to get one. I read while my horse was resting. 6 miles, that's too far for a book. Not for this one. And while waiting in line at the local store, and in one of my favorite positions with my feet up on a tree. That's how he loves to read his books. Before long, I had read every book in the neighborhood, from the Bible to Aesop's Fables to Robinson Crusoe, but one of my favorites, a book about George Washington. I'd even copy my favorite parts on pieces of wood. Did you know that George Washington was a friend of men? You're a strange boy, Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, but I'm gonna be on the penny someday. What's a penny? When I was 22 years old, we moved to Illinois, where I met a group known as the Clary's Grove Boys. Everyone in town knew they were bullies. I didn't like bullies, but I was the new guy. When they challenged me, I didn't have much choice. Think you're better than us? I never said that. Don't be chicken. Show us what you got. Today, some may call it a fight, but it was really a wrestling match. Me against their leader, Jack Armstrong. Back back then the rule was once you grabbed your opponent, you couldn't break your hold. Wham! But Jack did, so he could grab my leg and send me flying. I wasn't mad I lost. Everyone loses sometimes. What got me upset, he had cheated. You didn't play fair. Maybe you want to fight us all. Within seconds, they all surrounded me. They were waiting for me to back down or to lose my cool. Instead, calmly and confidently, I told them, they knew I meant it. If I have to, I will fight every single one of you, fair and square. You're a strange kid, Abraham Lincoln, but you've got guts. You know, I'm gonna be on the penny. What's a penny? Sometimes the hardest fights don't reveal a winner, but they do reveal character, especially when you're fighting for something you believe in. Still, not every struggle brought a victory. Years later, I saw a group of slaves chained together in a boat on the Ohio River. Back then, not all people were free. Some were slaves. Just because of the color of their skin, they were forced to work without pay. They were treated terribly. I never forgot the sight of that boat. I didn't do anything that day, but for years, the memory of those people, it haunted me. I was still thinking about them when I became president. I lost 4 elections before I got the big job. 4. America was facing one of the greatest fights in our history, the Civil War. One side wanted slaves to go free, the other side, we want to keep slavery going, and we'll fight anyone who says otherwise. If I had turned my head and looked away, I would have avoided the fight. But if I'd learned anything in life, it was this. When someone needed help, I wasn't so good at looking away. I'm sorry, I cannot allow that. What'd you just say? You heard me. These people will be free. The Civil War lasted longer than anyone thought. The fighting took a terrible toll. People on our side were ready to give up. To re-energize them, we had a big event in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The main speaker gave a speech that lasted nearly 2 hours. I gave a speech that lasted 2 minutes and used only 271 words. The most important 5 words I used: all men are created equal. And women. Soon after, I helped pass a law that ended slavery in America and freed all those people. Then, when we ended the Civil War, Soon after, I helped pass a law that ended slavery in America and freed all those people. Then we ended the Civil War. As a result, we didn't just bring together these United States of America. We proved that this government of the people, by the people, and for the people would be dedicated to freedom and justice. You know, In his speech, he told the crowd that no one would remember what he said at Gettysburg. Want to bet? In life, strength can take many forms, but there's nothing quite as strong as standing up for someone who needs it. No matter where you're from or how little you have, one thing that can never be taken away from you is your voice. When you find something you believe in, use your voice. And when you see injustice, speak louder than you've ever spoken before. When you do, it'll never be forgotten. Look, he's on the penny. I am Abraham Lincoln. I will never stop fighting for what's right. And I hope you'll remember that when you speak your mind and speak for others, there's no more powerful way to be heard. Sorry guys, my app just went kapooey. So I'm going to give it a second to come back. I think that was actually the last page. But we'll check here. It's coming back up now. Nope, that wasn't the last page. It said, I am Abraham Lincoln. I will never stop fighting for what's right. And I hope you remember that when you speak your mind and speak for others, there's no more powerful way to be heard. And that was the picture I was about to show you before it stopped on me. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live by the light that I have. I must stand with anybody that stands right, and stand with him while he is right, and part with him when he goes wrong. That was some words that Abraham Lincoln had said, and that's a picture of him. I can't read this. It says, during the Civil War. These are just some pictures and a drawing when he gave his Gettysburg Address. So those are some pictures of Abraham Lincoln and a drawing on the bottom of where he was giving his Gettysburg Address, which is the speech that he was talking about in the story. So that was Abraham Lincoln, and I hope you learned something from that. Watch it over and over again. I just wanted to show you. This is a copy of that speech that he talked about. It was 2 minutes long, and we've remembered it forever. This is the speech from the Gettysburg Address. This is just a copy of it. When you guys come over here, we'll have to read it. I'll read it to you so you can understand. Let me see if I can read this. It's written in a tough cursive. It says, address delivered at the dedication of the cemetery at Gettysburg. 77 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endow. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dictate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives, that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hallow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it for above our proof power to add or to distract. The world will, you know what, guys, I'm going to have to read this. I'm going to get a version where I can see it pretty well. I'm having a hard time reading it to you, and I want you to get the gist of it. But this is a copy of his Gettysburg Address. As you can see, it's not very long, but it touched the hearts of many people. And when we're all together again, or maybe one time, I'll have this written out where you can see it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story. Thanks for sitting with us for another story time with Poppop. I'll talk to you later. Love you.